jumping in to round 2, not doing what I did last time and saying hi and spoiling all of that thunder. We're just going to rock into some gameplay. So welcome back. And if you've no clue what this is...
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. If you've no clue what the hell we're talking about, this is Steve. Steve Secula, creator of Gem Blenders. Yesterday, or last, we talked to him about just kind of general product overview of stuff. He created Gem Blenders, this guy that is not very well lit. It will get there. White balancing's a thing. Or this is, I think it's just lighting adjustments. Whatever. He created this thing, which is so much fun, you can look at it on a bus. Because he did that in his video. Editing, Joe. It's a train. I've known it was a train. It's always been a train. It's underground. She's standing at a train at the beginning of the video. I know it's a train. Bus is more fun to say. That's what I've got. It's a train. And it's still like... I like the little, like, subtle, stupid things. Like, it's somebody on a bus. Who cares? I'm like, nobody else has been on a bus. Shut up. I'm real petty. Anyway, so yes, Decks and Drafts, Steve, Gem Blenders. We're gonna chat a little bit about gameplay. If you are following along, the little behind the scenes magic, we do a lot of things in one day. So this is coming out over 4 days. This shirt has not been on me for an entire day. This beer has not been sitting out for an entire week, day. Jesus, wow, day. It is a Scottish ale. Anyway, he's got water. Don't think too much about it. Anyway,
Cheers.
Welcome fake back. So I want to jump into the gameplay of Gem Blenders a little bit. Now, this one's actually, there's something really cool with this, because I'm so used to games where you are just a champion, a hero, an identity, or kind of in Magic, you just exist, and there's a thing. You go Power Rangers style and say, no, I'm not coming at you with one.
Exactly.
I'm coming at you with 4. So you start with 4 heroes. Give me kind of a quick breakdown of kind of what a game looks like, starting with 4.
Yeah. So the hero cards, every deck has at least 4 heroes. You can also have an additional 4 heroes on your bench, and they can like sub in at certain points during the game.
Okay.
But the heroes are like the core components of the game, and the deck has 4 heroes at least. There's 4 positions on the field: left, center, right, and back position.
Oh.
Left, center, and right make up your front line. So you have like, it's kind of like a diamond formation.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have your back position, which is the card closest to you. That card cannot attack, and it cannot be attacked, but it can still use effects. The front line are the ones that attack your opponent's front line.
Gotcha.
They attack kind of in lanes. There's 3 different lanes.
All right. So all you FF4 fans, front, back position. That's where you put your healers. That's the first thing I thought of.
Actually,
like, yeah.
Exactly. No, yeah, it's the support position.
But they are in lanes also.
Yeah, lane. So your center position attacks your opponent's center position. Your left attacks your opponent's right. Your right attacks your opponent's left.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's ways to move your heroes throughout the game. Like, you want to have them in optimal positions. Obviously, that depends on what positions your opponent's guys are in. There's also ways, like usually more costly cards, to move your opponent's position.
So is the objective here to knock out all of the heroes, or what's the win condition?
No, so there's you start with hit points. You start with like a total hit points, and then it's played over a series of rounds of 2 to 3 rounds. So that's 2 out of 3 rounds win.
Okay.
And right now the number is 25. We're doing some tests. It might change. That's just kind of the place we're at right now.
As far as hit points?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So 25 hit points per round is what we have now.
So do I have 25 and they are like my defenders?
I think the most helpful reference is to think of it as like a sports game of sorts. Like you're scoring on your opponent. You have like a bar of hit points. Your team has a bar of hit points. So it's like a communal thing they're trying to protect.
Okay. Oh, I see. So like they all have their collectively.
You're the coach. You're the coach in this situation. You're telling them what to do.
So coming in with somebody who's like weak as heck, and I'm picking Gloria because I just see level 1. That's all I have. That's all I've got to go off of right now. So coming in with somebody weak as heck and being like, she's gonna be countered by like, I've got this massive thing that doesn't exactly work, because she can just become actually your weakest link and open the door up to things, right? Is that kind of how I'm literally thrown out?
No, I can go into this. So
let's go ahead.
They go level 1 through level 5 heroes, and level 5 heroes, they can combine up to 5 different gems. So you have these cards called blends, and this one uses 5 gems. So this is a level 5 blend, whereas this one is a level 2 blend because it uses 2 gems. So level 5 heroes are the only ones that can play level 5 blends.
Okay. So this one doesn't actually matter. It's just okay. Okay.
Yeah, so the one doesn't blend at all, actually, which is pretty bad.
I was so wrong. I'm so used to Pokemon, where it's like level 1, level 2, level 3. All right.
Yeah, no, but it is, so like, no, they can't blend, right? Because the lowest blend is a level 2 blend, because in order to blend something, you have to have 2 different things.
Got it.
But the way the hero effects work is they're kind of inversely powerful. So level 1 heroes are going to have the best effects. So they're the best, like, supporting cards, because they're going to be uncovered usually the whole game.
Yeah, so once...
And level 5 heroes have the worst effect.
Got it. Okay, so in this case, and I don't even need another... I want to read a 1 and a 5. I'm going to take a guess off of the rules from what I'm seeing. See how I do. I'm going to put myself on the spot. I've looked a little, but I'm not coming in blind. So this is Gloria. She's level 1. Level 1. And I don't know why she reminds me of Tina from Bob's Burgers.
I will punch you again and again and again and again.
There's nothing about her that would literally outside of the glasses.
I think it's the glasses.
I think it's really just the glasses.
She's like an old Tina.
It's old Tina. Like I said, it's the petty things. Yeah. All right, so Gloria, level 1. Cross-reference, which you know what that means, but once during your turn, you may discard a level 2 or level 3 blend from your hand, and then search your deck for 1 gem used by that blend. I assume cross-reference is like the name of the effect, but this is essentially a tutor. Once per turn. So that's, in any game, that's amazing. So that makes sense why. So let's see what a 5 is. This is Ashanti, who right out of the gate, the only thing... Oh, God, I'm going to date myself here. Kazoo from the Flintstones. Remember that stupid alien? The green alien? That popped up randomly in the later seasons for... See, dating. I'm 38. Because I'm going to pop him up on screen, but later. All right, so formation. On your first turn, you may arrange your frontline heroes however you like. So yeah, he's like a one-time kind of prep, set everything up, and then you're done with him, and she's every turn tutor. So think of any other game. Don't even need to know the rule against. That's a wild power shift. Okay, so that's cool. So I've got them on the field. They're on the field. They're doing their thing. Help me, quick, let's build up a board. How does that happen? What does that ultimately look like? I've got other types of cards. If you want to use your props, go for it. Yeah. You brought props last time.
Yeah, I have my blends here.
And your lighting is a lot better than mine, so.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess that's good. So these are going to be your like if you're talking Pokemon, they're going to be your Pokemon card, your like basic Pokemon, your evolution cards. These are kind of taking, I guess, like maybe that's a bad example. But like your creatures in Magic, let's say that they're the guys that are going to attack. They're the ones that are going to like bring the power. Like your base heroes are similar in that some of them do have attack, but it's usually at very low numbers. It's not going to be nearly enough to be a win condition for the game.
Yeah, I'm seeing. I'm going to show it off real quick, just because I've got it. Is like this. The level 5 has the A and the D down under the character is 0 and 0, and then you get into, Stormweaver, who's a 5 blended holy crap thing, who's 4 and 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So it looks like under that system, just real quick, you kind of are relying on the gem blending. Like you kind of can't do squat with these heroes. It is really like not. There's first turn kill is not a thing. You actually need to invest in the strategy. Okay, cool. All right, sorry, I
Yeah.
Rock it out.
It's all about the blend. It's real. It all like the blends are the most interesting part. They're the cards that have the color background. They have the gems. We went into this a little bit the last video, but the gems are your resource cards. They're going to be similar to mana or land or energy cards in Pokemon. You kind of play them similarly to Pokemon energy cards, where you place them behind. Key differences: you usually don't want to have more than one of a single gem on a hero. Like your goal is to have at least 5 different gems on your hero in order to use your level 5 blend.
Got it. So over the course of the game, I'm setting this up. You are the wrong color. Over the course of the game, I've got my hero. I got my hero. That's a gem. Holy crap.
Gem, an arrow gem.
Literally, it's just one meter, guys. I'm sorry. So, oh my gosh. Hero, level 5, Ashanti. And I'm building Ashanti up by getting gems on her. And I'm blending by adding more things. So she's on the table, and then I continue to build her up. Right? And then once I hit certain things, I don't know if it's like once I hit certain thresholds, I'll ask you. So, boom, now I've got 3, which opens up, correct me on this, which those 3 would be like River Angel.
Yeah.
Is this one of those, like, is this one and done? Do I have to, like, is it risk reward of, like, do I want to build to the 3 or do I want to build to the 5? If she adds 2 more, can she, we'll just say evolve. I don't know what the word, what word do you have?
Blend. You blend it into a blend.
So they're blending. They're the, okay,
yeah.
I got
it. The gem blenders are blending. They're called gem blenders. They do the blending, and they blend into blends.
Okay.
Which are transformations.
Got it. So, got it. I have to do this. I have to do it just because it's me. I say it way too many times. I'm not proud of it, and I'm completely proud of it. This is like the orange Zord. Blue Zord. White Zord. And they create a Megazord. Go, go, Power Rangers! What? It's a healthy obsession. You have one. This is fine.
Exactly.
And then,
yeah, 100%.
When more of them join the battle, like the Yellow Zord and the Crystal Zord, why not? This exists. They become a bigger Megazord. I'm a Power Rangers nerd in a very unhealthy way. It's really kind of disgusting. No, it's fine. It's perfectly normal.
I think Power Rangers is an awesome comparison to gem blenders in a lot of ways.
And what's funny, so quick history for everybody else. My interest in gem blenders actually came from Super Puzzle Fighter. Which is, you know, similar, like your Battle Tetris style, Battle Column style, gem blend. That's literally what you do, is you blend gems. You pick a fighter, you blend gems, they drop gems on the opponent. They drop, like, dead gems on the opponent that kind of time out and become the color once they hit. So when I saw gem blenders, I immediately went to Super Puzzle Fighter. I was like, oh, I love this. And now the mechanics are like, no, it's Power Rangers. I'm like, oh, man, let's go.
Power Rangers.
Oh, it's very unhealthy. All right. So 4 heroes throughout the game. They're building up. They become respective Megazords. Attack and defense. So give me a little bit of, like, how do the lines work at this point? Is it literally just they're separate battles, you versus me? Are there interactions between those lanes over? Give me some strategy.
So like usually the rules are just lanes are the attackers. So say you're in the center position heroes. Your attacker has 2 attacks. Your opponent's center position has 1 defense. You declare an attack. It's going to be 2 to 1. 1 goes through to their hit point.
Okay, so everything has trample.
1. Yeah, exactly. there are like if you look at Stormweaver, for example, your level 5 blend. There, I have it here too. This is one of the cards that lets you attack a different position. Same card.
Well, left or right position, this hero may attack the opponent's center position hero, while in center position, this hero may attack the opponent's front line. So yeah, it's just boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So I feel like this is like a ramp up, and then the game, it feels like the game just kind of ends pretty quickly once this once this goes.
Yeah. It definitely it's definitely 100% slower at the beginning. But then as both teams kind of get built up, they kind of depends on how the teams get built up. But once they both are built up, they can kind of butt heads a little bit, in a good way.
So you said that there's no death there, though. They're just always there. So is there a point where there's just the line across from me is nowhere close? I'm always going to be able to get damage in. Is there a risk reward as far as who attacks when? Things like that?
There's a variety of things you can do. There's interruptions that change position when they do a declare an attack. Of course, if you have an open slot and a low defense and you have a high attacker, you're always going to want to line them up to the best of your ability. So it's not that hard to switch positions during the game.
The lay of cards called switch.
Switch. Yeah. Also a pretty common hero effect, switch effect, which is usually there's certain things that you want to have your deck be able to do no matter what. That's being able to switch position is one of them. Being able to search for gems is another one. Having some way. And there's a different way to do that. Yep.
Now remind me, you had the front position, back position. Was it back position can't get attacked?
It cannot. Yeah, it can't get attacked, and it cannot attack.
Can you do that? Can you do that in response? Hey, I'm going to attack you. Cool, that's on the stack. I'm going to switch. He's in the back row. You can't hit him. Is that possible or no?
So switch, no. But there's a card called Quick Switch, which lets you switch when an attack's declared.
That is not in Stormstrike. Stormstrike does not seem like it really cares about being defensive.
Yeah, Stormstrike in particular is this is Stormstrike. I have the little box here. It's a deck that's very good at switching positions. It's a very flexible deck in that way, mainly because of the Angel blend, which is a blend that lets you switch position. But that's another option, you could have a hero that switches position, you could have a blend that switches position, you can use these switch action cards. As long as you have one of those things going on, you can check that off as part of your deck.
Nice. Okay. So there is a whole rules. I probably should just open with that. There's a whole rules thing. Editing Joe might come out. Go away. There's a whole rules that you can find, gemblenders.com, Gemblenders YouTube, all the Gemblenders on the actual rules of things. But this super quick breakdown, very much, it seems like I've got my heroes versus your heroes. There's no death, so there's always just a lineup. It's a matter of you need to get the heroes out that are not going to basically be liabilities. Because they're attacking each other, not dying, they're simply just not able to defend against a hit point total. Right so far? Mm-hmm. You mentioned side heroes. What's the story there?
So you have your bench, which is essentially a sideboard. That's our version of a sideboard. Right now, it's limited to just heroes. You can have up to 4 heroes on your bench.
See, I guessed. I took a guess. I'm proud of myself.
Nice. And as I mentioned previously, the game is won over a series of 2 to 3 rounds. So the first person to win 2 rounds wins. And this isn't a round where you clear your board state and restart it. You go to 0, you go back up to 25, and your field stays exactly the same.
Oh, whoa.
That's a game. So the third round can be a powerhouse round. You have each person won 1 round already, and then you have a bunch of high level blends on your field.
Okay, there's a very clear follow-up to that. If that's the case, you probably know what this is. I'm in round 1. I'll ask the first question first, and then we'll get into kind of the one that I'm sure other people are thinking as well. Is it possible? Is it common that round 1 ends before you've got 5s like crazy on the board?
They cut out the end.
Sorry.
Before 5.
Before the 5s are just everybody's in their 5 mode.
Oh yeah, I think it's fairly typical to get at least one level 5 out during round 1. You can either like focus on getting one level 5 out or multiple level 5s out.
Okay. All right. So that's good to know, is that you are still slowly building up. The game, the match, we'll just go with, really lends itself to, you really get to explore your whole deck. You are going to over the course of the game. But that leads to this question. Do you have a slippery slope problem? If I get decimated in round 1, if I am so behind in tempo, like round 2 is just I sit there and die. If I was behind enough to lose round 1, is there any catch up mechanic in round 2? Help me out with that, because that's a concern.
Yeah, so right before I jump into that, I wanted to, because I didn't finish my thought from the bench.
I'm so sorry.
You can switch a hero no, it's fine. You can switch a hero out in between rounds. So that's the bench mechanic.
Okay.
You can switch one hero out in between rounds. So it's kind of like a little refresher or second phase of the deck. In terms of the slippery slope problem, I think in a lot of ways the round mechanic actually acts as a balancing mechanic in a bunch of ways, it's really interesting to think about. I think it's one of my favorite things to think about.
All right, let's go. What you got?
So originally the game was a game kept to 70 hit points. Like we just played one round of 70 hit points. That's like kind of what it was balanced to. And then kind of like not like late in the game, this is before the Kickstarter still, or maybe I don't know. It was like around the Kickstarter. Like something feels like a little too long about this. It feels like kind of unmanageable. Let's try to figure something new out. And then came up with the 2 to 3 rounds of 25. So essentially, so say you're like playing round 1, you like kind of realize you're going to lose round 1. You can start to save up your stuff, and then you start round 2 at the same amount, and then you can go stronger into round 2 than you would otherwise. Does that make sense? That
yeah.
Makes sense.
So you really
you get the first turn too.
Yeah, you're using it as a strategy, as opposed to like I guess I'm just stuck not going gung ho. It kind of reminds me of the Warhammer Conquest LCG, where like this territory is just lost. Or I'll date myself again. Young Jedi, Star Wars. Miserable game, by the way, but same idea of like it's done in a couple territories. I know I'm going to lose the first one. I'm gonna hold and strategize for the second one, knowing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Okay.
Like it also sucks. Like it doesn't suck, but like say you're both going for round 1, that's like exciting. But then someone's going to lose if you're both using up your resources. So that can be kind of some like really exciting moments too. It also breaks up the pacing of the game. Each round is its own exciting thing. That's another pro for the round. Another pro is that like some games are bound to be on the blowout side, as I think all card games can have at some point. Our goal is definitely to avoid that as much as possible, but also you don't want to make the game boring and make all the cards the same. So you have to there's going to be some of that. It lets games end quicker that are bound to end quicker. So you don't have to go through that whole 70 life. You can just do a 50 life chunk.
That makes sense. Okay, I dig that. The deck. Yeah. When we get to that, does this reset? Does this reshuffle? It's literally the same place you were before.
It's the same game. It's really just the same game. Like we call it rounds, but it's just like it's just different segments, really.
Okay, so it's literally going back to your analogy of the football thing. It's like the quarter ended, but you reset the play. You reset the scores, but the play resumes. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's cool. I like that. That's real cool.
Yeah. Definitely. I feel like we're are continuously adding. I don't want to say adding mechanics to like trying to we added the bench post. We actually added it I think within the last year and a half. So it was like a new mechanic that was everyone agreed was this makes the game a lot more fun. To be able to switch your heroes in between rounds.
Do they get any benefit for coming in? Like, do they get to come in with gems, or if I swap out somebody who was upgraded to 3, are they back to 0?
No, they pass the gems to the new hero. If it is blended, you have to deblend it, but they pass all the gems.
So in a weird way, I can almost have a strategy where I can sack round 1 intentionally to build up somebody, so I can swap in a ringer, For round two, I'll keep the sports analogies going. I can swap in a ring around two, like they're ready to go. Right?
Yeah. No, there's definitely you can also swap like a level 3 hero for a level 5 hero if you want. Or, I don't know.
Yeah, like you did your job.
But there's also like Ashanti, it has a first turn effect. That's the first turn of the whole game, so you can switch to like dead heroes like that for like ones who have effects closer to Gloria, where you can use them every turn.
Wow. Yeah. So it is really like you really are of all the games setting up the long game. You really set up the long game.
Yeah. I think So sorry. No, like I think one of my I don't like destruction in card games. I hate the feeling of like having like a super powered up Charizard on the field and having it destroyed. I think that like sucks. I don't know. Like it's also like makes sense, but for cards that are hard to get out and having it die, I think is a bad feeling. So Gem Blenders is there is destruction, but it's more costly than other games. So you're really focused on building up your board state and like really building a machine of sorts. That's kind of like the core to the gameplay.
Yeah, right. Because they never die. They're always This is your team. They're all on the field. It's not like Mutant League football where you can kill them and that's a win condition. Continuing to date myself. Real quick, some quick questions. The 70-minute when you tried it, how long did game take?
They depends how familiar you are with the cards. It's 20 to 40-minute range.
When you know the game, how about you know the game, you've played it enough, normal rounds 20 to 40.
Like if you know, like when me and Sam or me or Ben or me and David play, those are the two numbers. Like we can do it, like a under 20-minute game fairly easily.
Off of 70?
Like, yeah, or of 70.
Yeah, I'm curious what the 70 was.
Like so that's like going like a couple years back, but I think the average is around 25 minutes.
Okay, so the three rounds, you've got it to about 20.
Yeah, exactly. It cuts off like so. It also varies for the 3 rounds because it could just be 2 rounds or it could be 3 rounds.
Very true. Very fair.
But yeah.
So I should have said.
Also, the first round is usually about half the game because it's more of a build-up phase.
That's true. So when we said 20 to 25, we're talking the match, or were we talking like one round? Sorry, I didn't.
Match.
So yeah, these are wham bam, let's go. So last thing I want to get into for this, like I said, we haven't necessarily talked about like what do you do for you draw a hand, you do that. There's a whole tutorial for that kind of stuff, so I wanted to dig into like some of the unique mechanics, which there are a lot, and that's one of the things I'm learning the more I'm talking to other like TCGs. Hey everyone, if you're just curious, there's actually a lot of really good ideas out there. There are. I'm interested because it's Power Rangers. That's literally what it's gonna be. I don't care.
Yeah. That's fair.
But yeah, so I wanted to go check out the tutorial and whatnot if you want to see kind of general mechanics of the game. I wanted to get kind of into some of the spicy stuff. But like, what are some of the things just to kind of wrap up the game? Let's get into some in-depth strategy of stuff. What are the things that you're really focused on? Like you mentioned, this switches positions a lot. What are other kind of archetypes, perhaps, can somebody be looking out for that could really help?
Yeah. So I'd say everything points to the level 5 blend. Those are the guys that use 5 gems. So I got a bunch here. They're all level 5 blends. They're going to be your win condition cards when they're paired with some lower level. And just talking about blending in general, every deck, because these are your win conditions, every deck is going to be a minimum of 5 different colors usually. There's some like 4 or 3 gem decks that like are somewhat viable, but mostly speaking, it's 5 plus in terms of the number of gems you're using, which is like a really interesting like way of subverting the faction system that games normally rely on.
Yeah,
like I think Magic usually it's like 3 colors max is viable.
Yeah, sorry, mono red.
Yeah. Or 1. Yeah, like 1 to 3 in Magic, where Gem Blenders it's like 5 to 7, I'd say, is probably the most viable. Maybe 5 to 6.
Makes sense.
Now
the deck.
But yeah, so Yeah, no, by looking at, like, you can look at every level 5, and they all have like very distinct things.
Yeah, like the
Stormweaver,
Stormweaver,
like
she's all over. I hit everything.
very like standard, like good attack, good defense, nothing like standing out, but very flexible in terms of what it can hit.
Okay, so she's your versatility. She's versatility.
Mm-hmm. Whereas okay, I think Season Ascender is a cool example. Whereas at the end of the turn, if you have performed at least 4 rotations during your turn, rotation is one of the movements you can perform similar to a switch, but it like moves everybody at the same time.
Like volleyball. Like
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's a rotation. This is like one of the core movements of the game. But if you perform 4 in one turn, you can inflict 5 damage directly to your opponent's life in the form of non-attack damage. So it just like happens. It doesn't like no attack.
Okay.
So it's like that's an example of a card that's like really good reward for like performing some like weird action.
Okay.
And there's lower level blends that perform that action.
Okay. Yeah, I figured as much.
Yeah.
Just to control, you've got, that one, which is like, you have to come after me, or I'm just going to, it's like casting a spell. Like, that's like the ritual circle. It's like, hey, they've gone around once. You're in trouble. Like, you should maybe go deal with them. Okay, so there's a lot of different things. One of the things I noticed, and I just want to talk quickly deck restrictions, deck sizes. Because the deck I've got Stormstrike. I've got 1 level 5. Help me out. Let's start with deck construction. What are requirements, mins, maxes?
Yeah, just 3 max of any card.
I assume outside of gems.
Outside of gems. Basic gems, you can have as many as you want. Right now, our only gem type, all of our gems are basic gems, but we've termed them basic gems to open that up to more gems in the future.
Smart, Magic style.
There, yeah. So yeah, as many basic gems as you want. Everything else is restricted to 3 of 1. No, all your heroes need to be unique, and just 4, at least 4. You could have 4 more on your bench if you want.
Is there any restriction? I doubt it, because now that you've mentioned it, I doubt there's a restriction between like you have to have 4 different levels.
You cut out there.
I'm sorry.
On level? No, there's no restriction on level. You could have 5 level 5s if you want, or 4 level 5s or 4 level 1.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But I think we're like confident in the balancing of them.
Got it. I totally understand. Like, you don't necessarily want to load up with these big guys. Is there a restriction on these? Can I only have like 1 Stormweaver in the deck? Can I only have 1 Stormweaver in play, but 2 in the deck?
You could have 3, and you could have 3 on your field.
Okay. So yeah, everything else is fair game.
It's hard to get out a lot. Yeah, everything's fair game. Oh, action cards. There's some stars on the bottom of them. That's a card type we haven't really discussed. They're just like single-use effect cards. Some are better than others. They have stars on the bottom, and you can have. Our original rule states 6. I think we're transitioning to a 5-star action limit.
Editing Joe, I was eating. Was that a star wipe?
There are other wipes besides star wipes.
Why eat hamburger when you can have steak?
Nope. You got like 2 minutes left. I'm done. You're on your own.
But I'm not sure actually how many are in this one.
Oh, some of them have 2 actually. So it's actually. I'm just gonna keep throwing names out there of like this is like influence in Netrunner. Okay, so yeah, so I've got 6 in this one. Okay, so these are like extra holy crap powered effects. Deck size. Heavy.
50 cards exactly.
No more, no less?
Again, no more, no less. So 54 with the heroes, 58 with the bench if you want, but 50 cards in the deck.
I see you, Flesh and Blood.
And
it's not a 52 card deck. It's 40. And you got stuff.
Exactly. But yeah, that's where we're also like to be like completely transparent. We haven't ever printed an official rule book, so we are open to changing the rules, and we do game test different rules. And like our goal is to make the best game, most fun game possible.
Love it. So
so we're open to changing stuff.
Yeah. So
and we have changed stuff.
We'll explore that stuff in the wild card, the catch-up round of things as well. But yeah, so that's that's going to be kind of it for this round as far as just mechanics and things like that. Like I said, go check out the rule. Go look at the video, the tutorial video and stuff. But yeah, a lot of really cool things actually with it. Like you know what's really frustrating is like Back Alley Mages, their dice game is like, how in the world are you gonna make this work? How are you gonna make this interesting? And they made it interesting. Like, now I want to go play. You was like, all right, this looks kind of interesting. I did a little bit of the rules stuff, but now I was like, it's Power Rangers. Okay, now I gotta find time for that. I'm terrified of what else is coming. But what is coming for everybody else? Next time around, we're going to get into a little bit of philosophy, product philosophies, product goals, chase, like how do we get people excited? And I'd love to hear kind of your thoughts on that, especially because you transitioned from an LCG mindset, XCG mindset, don't sue me, Fantasy Flight, to TCGs. And I'd love to talk a little bit more about that. But that's set up. Check out gemblenders.com. They have a Discord. They're regularly doing testing, like we mentioned. Sundays, 4:30 Eastern Standard Time is when they tend to do like testing on future things. Game's constantly evolving, so if you're done here, go check them out. But I will see you guys next time to get into the whatnot. That's a pun. We'll talk later. Cheers, everyone.